Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming here to do another recap video. Today we're going to be talking 90 Day The Single Life Season 3. Now this is a 90 Day Fiancé new spinoff that came out last year at the beginning of 2021. This is when past 90 Day Fiancé couples are hit that it didn't work out in their marriages hit the single life. We see a lot of their stories and how they're adjusting to the single life and trying to find new partners and stuff. So, the 90-day window is now out, and now they're just enjoying the single life and meeting new people and stuff. So, and for the first 2 seasons, it's been really good. It's been very successful, actually. The single life has been more successful than anything, really. So, this is a good news show that 90 Day Fiancé put out. So, I like the single life. It's pretty popular. So, we have like six singles on this show for the season. They only show 4 in this first episode. So we're just going to get right into that. I'm going to start with Natalie. Now, Natalie is from Ukraine. She's 37, and she was previously with Mike. And, that relationship was just terrible from the get-go. When she came to America, her and Mike just argued nonstop. And then Mike's mom called the neighbor the day of the wedding to say when the preacher says if anyone objects to this union, speak now, forever hold your peace. Well, Mike's mom Trish wanted Mike's neighbor to stand up during that part to call off the wedding, and Mike did call off the wedding a couple days before. The day they got married, Mike said he wasn't ready to get married that day. But then a couple days later, they got married. And then 6 months later, they broke up. So yeah, that was Natalie's 90-day journey. Then Natalie was on the single life last season, actually. And she met this guy named Josh. Now, Natalie is still legally married to Mike. And she met this guy named Josh. She didn't meet Josh until like the end of the season. And she went on a couple days with him. So this episode, it starts out with Natalie. She's in LA. She had moved to Florida, and now she's in LA. Her and Josh. Josh is like a photographer that works with models and stuff, and Natalie is doing some modeling herself. That's kind of like how they connected. So in this episode, Natalie's traveling around LA, just enjoying the life and everything. Later, she meets up with Josh. Josh takes her out on a surprise date. They go to on this really, really nice Swan Park and went on this really romantic boat ride. Now, the boat ride was really nice. It was really romantic and stuff. But, the conversations were had that were uncomfortable. Natalie really has no filter. I have not been a fan. I was never a fan of Natalie because she has no filter on what she says. A lot of the stuff that she says, it comes out very rude, very disrespectful. And sometimes she lies about it as well and everything. And she gets really awkward when she does certain type of things. So Natalie confessed that she is a very jealous person, and she's not gonna like it with Josh. Works with a lot of other women and stuff, and I'm just like, well, it's his job, but I get it, but I don't, But that's his job, and it's kind of hypocritical because Natalie is a model herself, so it's kind of hypocritical with that. You're modeling, but you don't want your potential boyfriend to be a model, to work with models. So little double standard there. But nonetheless, they go on a date. The date goes well, but then Natalie decides to ask him to be exclusive, and he wouldn't give her an answer. And he was just like, we can't talk about exclusiveness after a couple dates already. They only been on a couple dates. He wants to get to know her and stuff and everything. And Natalie had said before she don't want to make the same mistakes that with Josh that she did with Mike, because she said she didn't know too much about Mike before they dated. But again, hypocritical, because she asked him about being exclusive. And he wasn't ready for it, and he wasn't ready for that. So they go back to the hotel, and they got separate rooms at their hotel and everything. And like he had dropped Natalie off at her room. Now I thought that from what it looked like he might have wanted to like have sex with her. And of course, Natalie's not going to do that. And then all of a sudden, I just see her slam the door in his face, like with the smile and like her little awkward laugh and stuff. And she just like slams the door in his face. And then the producer asks her, "Why'd you slam the door in the face?" Because he does want to be exclusive, but he wants to have sex or something. Now, I don't remember him like asking for sex. I think they were just like they gave each other like a little hug and kiss, like on the cheek. But I don't remember him saying anything about sex. So again, I think Natalie's coming up with a lot of lies again, and whatever. But I do like this Josh guy. Like he is really nice. But I don't know. Natalie is just very awkward. To me, she's very awkward. I mean, that's just my opinion. When she was on 90 Day Fiance and Happily Ever After, her scenes with Mike, they got the most scenes. Like their scene, and I was so irritated when I was watching their journey because they got so many scenes in an episode. More than anybody, and their scenes were not even entertaining. Their drama wasn't even entertaining. Like, like it was just her and Mike's relationship was so cringeworthy to watch. Like, I don't like the fast forward parts, but I really always wanted to fast forward Mike and Natalie because like it was just so cringeworthy, and it was just so annoying, really. So yeah, that was Natalie in this episode. So next up I want to talk is Tanya. Now, Tanya was with Senjin. Now, Senjin was on season 2 of The Single Life. And last season, it was just him and Tanya's, like, breakup journey. Like, basically, he moved out of Connecticut, moved down to Arizona, went on a date with one girl, and that was about it. Now, this time, they decided to put Tanya on The Single Life. And Tanya, the best thing to do after a breakup with somebody that you've been with for so long, like a marriage or whatever, the best thing to do is to go on a vacation. And that's exactly what Tanya did. So her scene starts out with Tanya being in Aruba. She's in Aruba, just getting her mind off of things, trying to start over, just enjoying life. And she's hanging out with friends, and just going skinny dipping and stuff and everything. And she meets a guy there named Joel, and her and Joel decide to go out. She met him on a dating app and also on the trip. And Joel comes in and takes her on a date, and Tanya says that she is separated, but legally she's still married. And Joel was not like too thrilled to hear that. Like he wanted her to be fully divorced. And Tanya was just like, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that I am like divorced. I feel divorced in every type of the way. I'm not together. It's all over. I moved on. This and that. But I see in that situation, I see Joel's side, because Joel is thinking like he's technically he's technically in a relationship with a married woman. And, yes, they may be separated, but legally they're still married. And Tanya was saying, "No, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that." Kind of you do. You kind of do. I understand the divorce process takes a long time, but, it needs to be done. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get like that saying. I don't, a lot of people who are separated, because I think Natalie is also still separated, but not fully divorced yet. So I just think that, I mean, if you want to date, that's fine, but if you know that your next person is going to be a little bit more serious, I would make more of an effort to try to get those divorce papers signed, and just to be done with this, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can just focus on your new relationship if you're ready to move on. I mean, that's just my opinion. But again, I know the process takes forever, but still, it's when you're getting into a relationship with somebody that just got out of a marriage that they're still separated. You're always going to think, well, they're still legally married. They may not want to get divorced, or they still have feelings for their ex spouse, and it just could cause a lot of like mixed emotions and unhappiness. So if I were Tanya, and if I actually agree with Joel. Like if I were Tanya, I would sign those divorce papers quick. If you're ready to move on, whatever. Now, late in her scenes, the producers asked, "Do you see yourself getting back with Senjin?" And Tanya did not answer that. It didn't even leave him a cliffhanger with that. Tanya just did not answer. But yeah, But other than that, Tanya seems to be enjoying her life, and I'm glad that she's out, doing what she wants to do, having fun, and hanging out in Aruba. And I hope it works out with this guy. But I'm sure that that divorce question is going to come out. So we're going to see if Tanya continues with this guy, or if she decides to get back with Senjin. Now, I liked her and Senjin together, but Senjin, he was a cool dude, and Tanya was very liked in the 90-Day universe. But Senjin had a drinking problem, and then Senjin didn't want to have kids, and Tanya wants to have kids. So that was the big damper in their marriage. So yeah, I hope so. When those situations come about, then that does set the tone for ending your marriage, and it's unfortunate, but that's just how the way it is. So yeah, that was Tanya. Next, I want to talk is Caesar, my man Caesar. Everybody compares. Everyone thinks that I remind them of Caesar. I had a similar story that Caesar had in his 90-Day story when he was with Maria. When Caesar was with Maria, they were on season 3 of Before the 90 Days. When he was with Maria, he said he was with her for like 5 to 8 years. The biggest thing in their relationship, Caesar kept sending her money. He was sending her like $800 every 2 weeks. He sent over a total $40,000 and stuff. He was trying to buy her love, and she just did not love him. She really scammed him. And then they didn't really meet until the tell-all, because Caesar had planned a trip to Mexico to meet her, and when he paid for her ticket or whatever, his credit card got declined because he didn't have enough money on it. And Maria was actually ready to go to it, and it's nothing was said. You didn't do nothing. See, and then not too long after that, they broke up. They tried to meet up in other places, and it just didn't work. Maria didn't want him to come, and she had said at the tell-all that she wanted him to make more money and stuff. I'm like, what do you mean make more money? He's sending you all of his. Like he was saying, he said that during his 90-day journey, he eats oodles and noodles all the time, because he sends all his money, all his hard work money to Maria, really for nothing. So I do remember after his season, he did fly to the Ukraine and met up with Maria for a couple days without the camera crew, and they hung out for a couple days, but then they just broke up, and she just did not want nothing to do with them. So Maria was a true scammer. We first thought she was a catfish, but she wasn't a catfish, but she was just a true scammer. She said she's been all around the world except for the United States, and when I saw Maria, I was just like, wow. She was such a really pretty girl, but she was a true scammer. Now, later, she had actually met up with Jesse, Darcy's ex Jesse. They hung out a few times and did a video together to explain her side. Maria had said that on her side that she wasn't Caesar lied on a couple things. He didn't send as much money as he said, and everyone saying poor Caesar and stuff, when Caesar is no angel. He did this, he did that. And and I was like, okay, there's two sides to the story. I'll hear both sides. But my thing about that is that like Maria should have been a little bit more honest, like she during that process. She said if she really loved Caesar, she should have told him. If she didn't love him, should have told him. I feel like she let him on and everything. It was just my opinion. Now, and like I said, Caesar's no angel. He might have did something or not did something or made people think one thing or another. You know, but Maria was a true scammer. But the only thing I would side with Maria on is that I do think that Caesar was a little bit too old for her. I think Maria needed somebody like in her age, and again, in the 90-day universe, there's a lot of age gap in their relationships. So yeah, that's the backstory about Caesar and Maria. So Caesar's on a single life now. So Caesar, he still loves Ukrainian women, and he's like, I'm not gonna make the same mistakes that I made with Maria. So he actually met up with this lady. At first we saw Caesar at this paint club where he was painting, and he was like making some snarky pickup lines with some of the girls there. And one lady is like, "Yeah, Caesar's pickup lines are funny, but they're not working with me." And one lady said, "Yeah, I have a husband and stuff," and he was making a pickup line about that as well. And that lady told the producers, "Well, you know what? Yeah, his pickup lines ain't working with me, and I actually don't have a husband." so they just like she was just like dissing him just to be funny. But so it starts off with that. So then also Caesar saying, says he's going back to the Ukraine, and he's going to try to find some Ukrainian woman. He's going to go on dates with a lot of women to see who's right for him, and he wants to bring him back to America. Sounds easy, right? Yeah, he just made that sound real easy. So he meets up with a matchmaker on Zoom named Katerina, and tells her what he wants and stuff, and he does, and then he prepares for this trip to Ukraine. Now, at the beginning of the episode of the single life, there was like a little note that says this episode was filmed before the Russia-Ukraine war attack. Now, prior to that, it was still getting ready for it. So Caesar saying, I heard we're about to get ready to go into war. There's a war with Russia. Is it safe for me to come? And and the matchmaker and everybody say, yeah, it's safe. And then they're talking about, oh, it may work out and stuff. So Caesar's like, this is my last chance. I'm going. So he decides to go. And first things first, like, judging by the previews of the new season, like he may spend a couple days there, and then he's gonna be forced to come back because then the war actually starts. And so I hope he didn't get trapped in the war when the war first began. I think it began back in February. So I'm really hoping he gets something out of it, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good because again, this episode was filmed before the war started. So, but there were still talks about it. So, kind of like also back on 90 Day Happily Ever After, when with Yara and her mom, I guess her scenes as of right now were filmed before the war started. So Caesar does fly to Ukraine, and he's hoping to find some Ukrainian woman. We'll see how far that goes, and I'm pulling for him this time, but at least this time he's over there and hanging out in person. So we'll see how that goes. And next I want to talk, and last but not least I want to talk, is Mother Debbie. Mother Debbie. So Debbie is Colt's mom. And, she was a big part of Colt's relationship when he was with Larissa, when he was with Jess, and when he was with Vanessa. And when he was with Larissa and Jess, Debbie's mom really ruined their relationship. She butts in a lot. Colt's a mama's boy. He's like in his mid-30s. He still lives with his mom. His dad passed away 13 years ago, which is unfortunate. And so, Debbie and Cole are all they had. Well, when Colt got with Vanessa, now he decides, it's time to grow up. It's time to get out. And Debbie's still like butting in and doing things. So Vanessa had enough of it, so she moved out. Then Colt moved out, so now Debbie's on the single life. So she was on the single life of season 2 last season. She went out with this guy named Jay. It just didn't work out. She went on a couple dates, and it just didn't work out. But she got in a complete makeover where she looks completely younger now. She's 70 years old, and she looks complete younger now. So this episode starts out Debbie at this like club, and she was like dancing. I'm like, okay, Debbie, go ahead and get it. She was like dancing and just acting like she was like 20 years old again. I do remember she saying that she used to be a go-go dancer. And so she was just at this club with her older friends having a good time. And she was saying that she's met a new guy named Tony. He's like 69 years old. He looks like Santa Claus, she said. He does a little bit. And, they talk and text all the time, and they finally had a video chat, and he was very nice. He was very nice and everything, and she was preparing to, I guess he was planning on coming over to her house or whatever, or preparing for like another virtual date. Well, while preparing for the virtual date, Colt came back to the house to pick up some things and leave again, because I guess like there was some places in his room that were still a mess, and Debbie wanted to clean up. So Colt comes in and tried to get some of his stuff, and him and Debbie had to sit down and talk. And Debbie's like, "You're my son, I love you." Cole's like, "I love you too, but you're in my relationships too much. I don't need you no more, and everything." And Debbie was like, "Have you ever thought about I need you instead of you needing me?" And Colt was like, there you go again with the guilt trip. I'm done with this guilt trip, Mom. You keep guilt tripping me to do things. I'm not falling for it no more. I'm a married man now. And me and my wife separated because of you and stuff and everything. And so Debbie just starts hysterically crying. Hysterically crying. It was almost like her and Colt literally broke up. If that's how that Colt, she's like, "Colt is so mean. He's so mean. He was so rude to me. I love Colt with all my heart, and this and that." And when I was hearing that, I just thought that was a little bit weird, and I'll tell you why. I'm fine with Colt still technically living with his mom. I'm even fine with him being a mama's boy. There's a lot of mama's boys. I'm a mama's boy. Right now, wrong being a mama's boy. But Colt and Debbie's mother-son bond comes out as just a little weird. And, a lot of people make snarky jokes about them being dating and stuff. That's disgusting when people think that. But and I never looked at it that way, because one, that is disgusting. But I seen a little and when I was watching the episode, I seen a little bit. Okay, she's hysterically crying, and then she goes and calls Tony her man and says Colt was so mean. "Oh, Tony, I just want to be with you so bad. I just wish Colt would get out of my life and leave me alone now. This and that." Colt was like, "I don't need my mom no more. We're done and stuff." Just by how it sounded. Again, it was heat of the moment. But that just sounded, even when you're upset, that just sounded a little bit, how it came out just sounded really weird to me. And that's going to give people the green light to say, "Oh yeah, Colt and Debbie have this relationship more like a boyfriend and girlfriend than a mother and son," which again, that's disgusting, and I'll never say that. But again, it was a little, just how that conversation and how the hysterical crying was for both of them, it was just a little weird. Just my opinion. But I'm not gonna say what other people will probably think. But I just know that when they show that clip on YouTube and stuff, people are gonna be like, "I told you so." So yeah, that was Debbie in this episode. And that was it of the episode. We did not see Veronica or Tiffany in this episode. We'll probably see them next week. So yeah, So yeah, guys, that was the first episode of 90 Day to Single Life. Please like and subscribe. It's gonna be another fun season. I'm looking forward to all of these singles and finding new people and stuff. Judging by the previews, it looks like I think Natalie and Josh ain't gonna make it. I think Natalie goes back to Mike. Actually, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how Tanya and her new boo go. Veronica, I'm excited to see her journey. Veronica is not a person who was on 90 Day Fiance. We just see Veronica a lot on Pillow Talk. It was her ex Tim that was on the show with his ex Jennifer, and now Tim and Veronica dated, but their journey wasn't on 90 Day Fiance. We just see them on Pillow Talk. And Tiffany, she was with Ronald from South Africa. She had a weight loss surgery. They have a couple kids, and yeah, that just didn't work out. So I'm looking forward to seeing Tiffany's new journey as well. So, all right, guys, I'm hopping off here. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be back on tomorrow and Thursday to do Married at First Sight.